Mr Chair, there have been some very good points raised, and I think it's absolutely beholden on me to answer some of those questions. The police employees who decide to stand for local authority elections there's going to be obviously have to be some changes made to the police internal policies to deal with that. Some of the things that may need to be reviewed are some aspects of the Code of Conduct, and I'll just read to the House a couple of those points. The first is that a provision that where employees do participate in political matters in a personal capacity, they do not bring themselves into conflict with their primary role as police employees. That's already part of the Police Code of Conduct. Another part is employees ensure that they remain politically neutral in all of their dealings in the workplace. Some comments have been made about a particular Manukau City Councillor, Alf Filipano, who's known to many of us, particularly in the Manukau region. I can't think of one instance where his political situation on the council has had anything to do with his policing, other than that he's probably brought a lot of knowledge from policing into his role of the council. Certainly he's not standing for the National Party last time I checked, but I've certainly had, as Minister of Police, plenty of dealings with Alf and never had any worry at all as to his ability to do his role professionally. The police manual as well, which sets out police policies and procedures, will need to be reviewed. There's obviously some issues relating to the internal policies to make sure that any conflicts or potential conflicts of interest are managed. There's been some issues raised about the potential conflict and how terrible this could be. And of course it would be if it actually ever eventuated. In fact, that police officer could end up in an employment situation, and they could also end up obviously in a situation of involving their elected situation. But actually so do lots of other councillors. I think, for instance, as a lawyer, I can think of a time where a lawyer, for instance, who may be acting for developers might actually be elected onto a council. Should that person be precluded from being elected onto the council because the council may be making decisions about development? And the fact is that what that lawyer's got to do is to point out to him from himself or herself that they are in a potential conflict of interest situation and exit the decision-making process. And that's the sort of thing that police officers can and already do when they serve on councils. They are aware that they are in a potential conflict of interest situation. There might be some examples, for instance, where they wouldn't be involved in the approving of some bylaws, such as liquor licensing, noise control, determining zones that brothels can and cannot operate, and the removal of gang fortifications. Those are all issues which involve enforcement by police. And so obviously they are probably better not to be part of that decision-making process. Those are not conflicts and potential conflicts that can't be managed. Yes, they can be by sensible people who are actually sensible. They have been by virtue of the fact that they are serving police officers and have been elected by their communities. If they are not aware of that, then like anybody else who has potential conflict of interest, they must be aware of it and to take the consequences if they do not heed it, just the same way as any member of Parliament has to. And I don't think we should have a situation where we preclude police officers by law, not through their employment situation, but by law, the only people that we are going to preclude. That is the ridiculous situation, and that's why I'm very pleased with the support that we've had from other parties in the House to get this through an urgency. And one of the reasons we're doing urgency is actually because those officers need to be able to plan a campaign. They need to be able to make decisions, they need to talk to their family, talk to their employers, and also the police need to make sure that they get their own code of conduct in line with this law change. What we don't want to have are an awful lot of police officers, or even a few police officers, who are precluded from being able to stand because they have taken their constabular oath or are in a senior position. I support this bill, obviously, but I'm also very aware of the fact that it is righting a wrong that was done, let's say, with a mean spirit, and I think that many of us here in the House can accept that there was a mean spirit pervading at the time that that change took place. And you know, democracy is not just for everyone else in the world, it's also for New Zealand police officers.
Members.